Well, all right. Well, welcome back to the Close It Now podcast. Special alert. This one is actually, I was talking to this gentleman. I saw him in person at Profit Rocket, and he said, hold the phone, brother. We've got something special to talk about. So what I've done for all you listeners, everything that was recorded, this is how important this is. Everything else that was recorded, if you've been listening for a while, you know I record a lot of podcasts ahead. Everything got bumped a week so we could prioritize this one to get it out as soon as we've got it recorded. So we're recording Monday. It's going to drop the very same week on Friday. That's going to be the October 14th, 2023. So I am excited to introduce this guest today. And you will, as soon as we get into this, you will hear why I moved everything out of the way to clear the way for this special announcement, because it is huge. It's crucial. It's very timely for all of you that have been messaging me. What do we do in the off season? How do we get more business? All of these things. It's super crucial. So my guest today is none other than this will be the only person that's been on the show 3 times in the entire 5 years we've been running now. And I'm blessed at this point in time to call him my friend. And also he is a total ninja when it comes to sales. Sales Ninja, of course, is his business. This is Mr. Gene Slade. Thank you for joining me on the show today, sir.
Man, thanks for having me back a third time. Is it okay if I clarify that the name of the company is Lead Ninja? We are sales ninjas for sure. Like, that's what we specialize in. And you probably got that from the shirt, right? Sales Ninja.
Yep, sure did.
So,
Lead Ninja.
But yeah, man.
Lead Ninja.
I love the podcast, and thank you for allowing us to use this platform for a third time now, Sam. It really is we're very grateful for it. And you're right. This is, like you said, it's a timely thing, but like this is something that I think the way that I'm thinking about it in my mind is it's something like the train has left the station, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not even that the boarding doors are open to get on. Like, this is happening in real time. What we're going to talk about today.
Right.
So if people don't get on the train, they're either going to need to get on at the next stop if they can make it, or they're probably going to get run over by the train. And this is a really, really scary conversation that we're about to have for contractors.
I agree. I mean, best case scenario at that point, they'll hop on a horse and hijack the train from Pony Express style. But
man, you got to get on the train right now. So you want to tell them what we're going to talk about?
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, this is something, if you've listened to the podcast a bit, you've heard me mention it periodically about trying to figure out with everyone knows the most common conversation, if you touch the internet space at all, the conversation right now is surrounding AI. And, you know, if you've listened for a bit, you've heard me mention I'm working on figuring out different ways to incorporate using AI in our process. We all know that when we are at the cutting edge of technology, as well as implementing and using the skills and the tools that we have, we are completely demolishing our competition. So that's the most beautiful part of course, what I teach at Close It Now is we're very low tech when it comes to communication and psychology of communication, but we're very high tech when it comes to using all the surrounding elements of innovating and doing what no one else is doing. And this very much falls right in the middle of that. So this conversation is surrounding AI, but also not just AI. This is beyond just using ChatGPT to create announcements for your Facebook page and help you write a school paper, all those kind of things.
Yep.
This is next level. So super excited about the conversation today. For everybody listening, Gene he's one of 100 people in the world that has access to the technology specifically that we're talking about today. So fill us in a little bit more. We know it's AI, but beyond that, Gene, what is it that you are holding in your hand that only 99 other people in the world have right now?
Sam, this is the very first conversational AI. And it's a conversational sales AI. So what in the world is that, right? Well, you were talking about some things that are going on if you look on the internet right now. Well, some of the things that I'm seeing on the internet and in talking with my coaching clients is that in this shoulder season, if you will, where it's not too hot and it's not too cold for HVAC contractors, and I work with plumbers, electricians too, but mainly the HVAC guys right now, they're slow. Like they've said, call volumes nationally are down somewhere between 30 to 40% from what I'm seeing. And they're having a difficult time filling their schedule. And at this stage of the game, it's almost too late to like try to find somebody who can do outbounding for you, call your existing base. Like by the time you would get somebody up and running, the weather's back, right? And then what do you do with that person? Because your schedule's full again. Hopefully. So conversational AI, let's talk about it a little bit. So, and some of the uses. The very first use that I saw for it was outbounding, right? So now when we say conversational AI, it sounds like you're talking to a human. Essentially, we've got software where I can call up your entire list of people that are in your company or done business with your company, your maintenance agreement customers, your non-maintenance agreement customers. We can use this AI to reach out to them with the telephone and many other ways, right? But it actually sounds like a human. And we program it so that any objection that comes up, like it knows how to handle it, right? So absolutely crazy. And the one of the other cool things about it is that I can call one person at a time, or I can call 1,000 people all at the same time. And you don't right? Like it's freaking mind blowing. It can do the work of a 20-person sales team, something that would take them a month or two to do. It can do it in seconds, if not minutes. Like, I mean, absolutely wild. Crazy, man.
So I mean, let's pause there super quick, just to kind of reinforce that, because it really is mind blowing. It's hard to understand. So you're telling me if I have an HVAC company or a trades company, and I've got a database of, say, 5,000 maintenance clients, and then just a database of another maybe 5,000 people that are in our database that are just there. So 10,000 people total. We can shove that into this conversational AI, and it will call them all in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. It's got the capacity. It's like you could put 100,000 in there. Now, I wouldn't recommend that, right? Because it's so good at what it does that you'll be overrun with appointments.
Wow.
Like overrun.
That is amazing.
But we've got that kind of bandwidth now. Like I got chills, man. Like I wish you could see it. Like it's just mind blowing to me. Right. And one of the cool things about it too, Sam, is that like for all my business owners out there, listen, human beings, we come with challenges and problems, right? This thing doesn't get sick. It doesn't take days off. It doesn't go on vacation. It doesn't need a smoke break. It doesn't need a lunch break. It doesn't have baby mama drama, right? It doesn't get an attitude. And in fact, when a client gets an attitude with it, we've programmed it to get more empathetic. Right? Like how many of you out there have had a conversation with a customer and they said some things to you that affected you emotionally? We've all been there, right?
Oh yeah, and absolutely.
Isn't it hard, Sam, with our humanity, like the way we're wired, we're emotional beings. Isn't it hard to not get emotional back with that client? Even if your words are good, they can tell by your tone and inflection that you're affected, right? Well, this thing doesn't get affected that way. It senses, or it realizes that you're pissed off, keywords, and it will actually apologize to you, get more empathetic, and it'll turn a different corner, a different like strategy to keep you involved. So
wow.
And it's only going to get better because it's AI, it's constantly learning. So if you've got, let's say, 500 telephone calls that are successful calls that are recorded, I can upload all that to it, and it learns what works and what doesn't, like, and now it knows. And and then you just put it to work. So, and it's cool too, because like it's cheap to operate. Like, Inbound calls, we haven't talked about that yet, but inbound calls, it's
Mhm.
like 32 cents a minute that it's actually talking. It doesn't charge you for like dial time and stuff, right? And then for 11 cents a minute, it'll do outbounding. So like,
Wow.
yeah, and some statistics here. Right now, it's twice as good from a conversion standpoint as some of the best sales teams out there. Already twice as good, and it's about 1/5 of the cost. So it's almost a 10x factor in efficiency. You're looking at cutting your overhead by 90% on those types of positions.
Well, no joke. I mean, because I mean, let's do some math here. If it is doing 32 cents a minute times 60, so that with no overhead to have to pay. We're not paying any loaded up, paying taxes. We're not paying for
Right?
somebody's insurance. We're not paying for workman's comp. That's $19.20 an hour for this thing. And that's if it's working every single minute of that hour. Right.
Exactly.
So wow. And then outbounding, I mean, at 11 cents, that's $6.60 in an hour
It's crazy.
to call thousands outbound. Jeez.
Yep. Yep. It's really super, super efficient. So like the outbound call is something that people need desperately right now. Right. And like I know that there are contractors out there that go, hey, we got 3,000 clients in our database. We've only got 300 maintenance agreements. They call those maybe sometimes to book them. This can do that. But like I know that you guys would like to have somebody who is really skilled at calling your existing customers and setting up tune-ups and maintenance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like because maintenance is really the best type of lead that you can run in our industry, at least in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Like dude, my mind is just so blown still, and it's scary too, right? Because this thing is coming for people's jobs, and
Wow.
it's just all
Well,
it
even
is.
man, where my mind went to even crazier is this is not even talking about. So this is a company that has, those existing clients, this existing database. We haven't even touched on what it's like to buy lead lists. And this kind of, you don't even have to have the super crazy fresh leads. Let's buy the super cheap, we can get 10,000 people in a lead list for, a couple $100. Throw that in
Yeah,
there and see what happens. I
we
mean,
hadn't
geez.
even we weren't even talking about that, but yes, you're 100% right. That came to us a couple weeks ago, and we're like, oh my gosh, like we absolutely can program this thing to outbound to a fresh list. And like at that stage of the game, like from a marketing perspective, I think it is going to be so massively powerful. When it's talking, I can have it do, if the conversation needs a human being, it'll actually transfer to a supervisor, right? But we can send them text messages. It can send them text messages while we're on the phone. It can send them links to financing. Like we've had situations where, well, I'll just tell you the second thing that we're going to use it for, that we're building right now, and that is for the follow-up sales call. Like how bad are salespeople at following up, right? Especially in our industries, like they're used to being spoon-fed leads, right? So it's kind of like giving a man a fish, right? He comes back the next day and asks for another fish. Well, this is going to actually make outbound calls maybe almost immediately after the technician leaves the job. Will be
sure.
So it'll essentially be a QC call, quality control call, where we ask a couple of questions about our processes and make sure that the technician is in alignment with our processes. And then at the end, it's like, hey, by the way, would you mind sharing with us why you chose not to do XYZ? And we're literally closing deals over the phone and sending finance paperwork and scheduling the job for some, like, this is like, you got a $3-4 million company out there. This is very easily, like, it can add $1 million in revenue to your not your bottom line, your top line, right? Like, how much money are we leaving on the table out there? So that's the module number 2 that we're building. We got it working. We're not ready to release it to the public yet. We'll be ready probably within the next 30 days. And then we're going to be doing the inbound call taking. We're already doing that right now. I tested it the other day. It called me actually, and I missed the call. And then I called it back and I was like, oh, this is my AI, right? And it booked an appointment with me. And I gave it some, I threw some curveballs at it and stuff, and it was able to handle them wonderfully. Just phenomenal. If anybody wants to listen to that call, you can listen to it on leadninjaai.com, leadninjaai.com. But it's like a 4 or 5 minute call that you can listen to as a demo. And just for the record, when you go there, this is an uncut piece of recording. Like, I didn't touch it up, I didn't make it better. You'll hear a couple little errors in there, like the way that she says the price. We programmed that wrong, and we've got to go in there and change it a little bit. But for us, it's a simple fix, right? Because we've got programmers. And like, we can fix that in 5 minutes, and then it sounds natural. But you can tell that this one is an AI voice, only because we didn't go in there and fix all of the stuff to make it pretty. Like, I'm not trying to give you something that's unrealistic, right? But once we program it, it never makes that mistake again. Like, how many times do you tell your employees, don't do that again? They do it again. This thing doesn't talk back, it doesn't disobey. So once we fix it, it's done forever, right? So pretty phenomenal, man. So
this is blowing my mind.
Then imagine a world, Sam, where you're a technician, you're out in the field, and you need some assistance closing the deal. Well, if you've got a badass sales manager, then you call him and he helps you close the deal, right? Yeah. Well, this is the sales manager. You call it. You call it and you say, hey, John, I'm out with Mr. Smith, and we've got a system here that needs to be replaced. They've actually been with us for 4 or 5 years. And you explain just kind of like you would with a normal human being, and it helps you to close the deal, right?
Wow.
So drop calls, things like that. Reviews, like getting reviews has never been easier. Imagine a world where you call it when you're there with the client or something, and it asks them a couple of questions, like a survey, right? And then the last question would be, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate our service and why? And they give you the answer. Well, it records that and then sends it in a text message back to the client so they can copy and paste it to the link that we also send them for the review. Like, so,
and then we have the audio recording we can use as a testimony also.
Exactly. So just there's so many things that we're using it for, and I won't release them all right now on this podcast, right?
Sure.
But like,
well, these are
phenomenal.
enough like teasers and nuggets that, I mean, anybody who's listening to this that isn't getting excited right now, I mean, something I always heard growing up in church is what they always said, right? At a moment like this is, if this don't light your fire, your wood's wet. I mean, yeah, you should be getting pretty crazy excited if you're listening to this, because I can't tell you the number of conversations I've had with different owners in the last probably 3-4 months, reaching out to me about, man, how do we need savages that are outbound people. How do we find them? How do we put them on the phone? They can't just be your regular phone people. It's got to be a different skill set. It's got to be a different person that is a hunter, but also that person, normally we find them and we put them in the field for like sales. But how do we find that? Talk about a tiny niche to find that person and then plug them into a call center and be like, all right, you're our phone murderer, right? You're a savage. Let's go sniper, 1 shot, 1 kill. And that personality type is so rare and hard to find, but not anymore, because
the good news is
we can have as many of them as we want, right?
Yep. So we're building essentially Gene AI, right? I mean, we have it. So imagine having me, being able to hire me, pay a one-time fee, right? And then have lifetime access to a bunch, like 1,000 Gene AIs. Like, would you hire me to come in and work at your company? Would you hire me to make outbound telephone calls? Would you hire me to close deals? Would you hire me to follow up? Well, now it's here. But before, there was only one of me, and not everybody could have that, right? But now everybody can have a Gene AI by going to leadninjaai.com, right? And by the way, you don't have to pay. You don't. There are different packages for us to set it up, right? From anywhere from free to white glove service. So like the web address that I gave out, there is an option for you to set up an appointment to have a conversation about it. Then there's an option for you to just go ahead and use my link to get your free account, and you can mess around with it yourself. If you don't mind, learning how to program computers and stuff like that, like there is some training that's available, but 60, 70 hours worth of training, you might could do it yourself, right? But you're not getting the proven, scripting and presentation stuff, right?
Right.
You're not getting all of the brains that we have behind us here. So
sure. Well, mean, who has 60 or 70 hours to try to throw at this and to hopefully learn it well enough to then develop all the scripting and stuff to put into it?
Yeah. And I really see this, Sam, like a race to be first, right? Like the people that get on this right away are going to have a distinct advantage above everybody else. And with like, nobody knows what's going to happen with our economy, right? We know that we're in a recession, right? And the banks are tightening up. And I saw this in 2008 when I started my first business. It was really, really tough. So it's going to be important that we run our businesses efficient, lean, right? The people that are able to do that, the people that maximize and capitalize on technology right now are the people that are going to come out at the top of the heap when all of this turns around.
Right. Oh my gosh. My mind just exploded about something else, because we were talking about having the much more outbounding, much more hunter mentality. And, the sheer fact of it is, especially the last 5 years, the economy was booming, and it was so easy that, especially in the HVAC world, we became lazy, just lazy order takers. There are no sales skills needed. And now the people that were just doing that are going to drown. And the need for this much more hunter mentality, combined with being able to lean everything up, which is interesting because my podcast that dropped today is literally going from herbivore to carnivore in the in the space. A lot of that is actually a big part of what I'm doing, is partnering with really diving into door to door for HVAC, which is not being done, which is
huge,
almost no cost leads. And people don't believe me when I tell them, listen, let's go into any neighborhood, and in an hour, we're going to set 1 to 3 appointments every single hour we're out. So if you work 1 hour, 5 days a week, and you set 5 to 15 new appointments at zero cost for lead acquisition. But where my mind went is, as soon as that is set, that appointment is set, now we have a tool to call that homeowner, lock them in, get them excited, get to send them some information, and really lock in that appointment for when the expert shows up. If that's the model that it can just combine into so many different things that are amazing,
dude.
So super stoked about this.
And you're right about the door-to-door thing, man. That is such an underutilized tactic, right? It's guerrilla marketing. And I used to do that with my company. Matter of fact, my brother-in-law, he was like 16 and he had the whole summer off, right, from school, and he wanted to learn sales. So I brought him down and I put him in a passenger seat of one of the vehicles with one of my technicians, and he went out and he door knocked for me. And the first day, he was about an hour into it. He'd never done it, right? I just gave him some scripting, role play with him a little bit. And about an hour in, he calls me and he says, Gene, this is a gated community, and the people said that there's no soliciting and that I need to leave. And he was like, what should I do? And I'm like, for John, young soldier, just keep going, right? And like 15 minutes later, he got me an appointment. It wasn't for a tune-up, it was for a quote. And I was out there within 30 minutes. An hour and a half later, it was a $20,000 sale, right? Like,
and zero lead acquisition cost, or $100 to the guy knocking the door, right?
Exactly. So you're right, man. We're going to be able to use it in so many different ways. Like, for people like you and I, we can use it too, right? To outbound to potential prospects. So you ever want help with that, let me know. We'll hook you up with an account and help you.
Oh, 100% going to be doing that. Well, and two, I mean, I'm just imagining how we can use this in trainings, setting up, just to build training modules for people to like have like a real-time role play anytime you need it, but that knows what's going on. It's not just role playing through, a flow chart of if A, if B. It's very much more interactive. I mean, how to have the coolest, most badass sales training role play software on the market, right?
Imagine or something. You freaking nailed it. I wasn't going to say it, right? But imagine a world, contractors were at 8 o'clock. Your technician puts the key in their truck, or they push the button and it starts going. GPS notifies the CRM notifies AI, and at 8:05, AI calls your technician up and starts role playing with them. Like, that's what's going to happen. That's going to happen. We're doing it.
Oh my gosh. This is brilliant,
phenomenal, man.
I love it.
I got freaking chills right now, because like, this is exciting, but I've also lost sleep, Sam, like out of excitement and out of like fear. Like, this is going to replace some of the jobs that I've been doing, right? So it's not just coming for other people's jobs, it's coming for mine too, right? So we figured we better own the technology. Otherwise we'll get run over by the train.
Well, and that's it. I heard something years and years ago. It was actually at an ACA convention, in about 2006 or so. And I don't even remember who the person speaking was. They said, if you don't like change, you better get used to extinction. And that's a big one. But the way it hits me, though, it's less about the scarcity mindset says it's coming for our jobs and we're not going to have anything to do. The abundance mindset says this is going to help, it's going to assist, it's going to, yes, take over positions that can be automated, but how can we use it to grow other jobs and new positions? And the people in those positions, how can they then grow and learn to manage that as well as learn something new? So yes, it's going to replace some things that maybe are redundant or can be done better this way. But with the boom in the business and if we use this right, the abundance of new work that we didn't have before, we're going to need a lot of people and a lot of other positions too that cannot be automated. And so I think it's just more of a change of roles and a shift than it is a replacement. At least that's where my mind goes with it.
Yeah, it might extinct, right, some positions, but like you said, the efficiencies that it's going to build, the follow-up modules, things like that, is going to create so much more jobs on the back end. Right now, robots can put up drywall and shit like that, right? They're not installing HVAC systems yet. I do see a world, Sam. I envision a world 10, 15 years from now when we've got autonomous figured out from the car perspective, right? I personally imagine a world where one of these robots that you see nowadays gets out of the truck, goes and diagnoses things, communicates with the customer, fixes the problem, and they're out. I really do believe that we're going to see that at some point.
100%. Absolutely can agree with you on that.
It's like the stinking Jetsons around here.
You got it, man. I remember in 2010, I toured the Bryant Carrier factory in Indianapolis. And then the engineers were talking about, they're like, the way our future design for equipment is you're just going to roll out just like you do with a car and plug it in and it'll tell you what's going on. We're working towards building to that. And this was in 2010, it's 13 years ago, they were talking about being able to do that. So it will be happening soon because that's been on the books for over a decade to be able to a robot roll up, plug their port in, what's going on with the equipment, let's diagnose it and get it figured out. So, but this is thrilling, man. So let's recap this a little bit because I feel like there's so much that can be done. I also made a note to contact you with somebody as well. But God, there's so much that can be done here with conversational AI. We've got outbounding that can be done. Dive into that a little bit because that's a newer term in the industry that a lot of people don't understand. So give us just an overview of what outbounding is and how it's effective and what kind of how the numbers change a little bit with that. And that's with people doing it like kind of half-assed. if it's done right, what can that look like? So kind of go through outbounding with everybody.
Well, I'm not sure if I'll answer all of that, but maybe you can help me because I'm not that smart, right? I really am not. I'm good at only a couple things in this world. But outbounding, for those of you that don't know, it's simply picking up the telephone and dialing the people that have done business with you and scheduling some type of reason to get back into the house. If you can get into the house, chances are pretty good you're going to end up finding something that is going to cause the customer trouble down the road, or something that'll be able to save them money, or something that they're already paying for whether they get it or not, right? I think we can all agree that maintenance is a good thing, right? So that's really all it is just picking up the telephone call and reaching out to your existing people. And unfortunately, most companies don't have somebody in that position. And the companies that do have people in those positions, there's all kinds of challenges and struggles that they run into. Like, I mean, how many of you contractors out there have said to yourself, it's hard to find good people, right? And I think that that's actually kind of BS, Sam. Like, I think that there's people, and then there's the skill set, and you have to train them, right? But now we're in a world where we don't have to look for that person anymore, and my AI just reaches out to all those customers. And it's phenomenal, man. I can even change tone and inflection on it, dog. Like, and 2.0 is coming. We don't have it in the software yet, but 2.0, the voice is insane. Nobody will be able to tell that it's a robot.
Love it.
Nobody will be able to tell. You won't know the difference anymore.
This is beautiful.
Imagine being able to hire 4 people tomorrow that were perfect at their job.
This is compressing time. This is so well, and it cuts out the training time. It cuts out the burn leads during the training, right? It just goes to work immediately for you. Gosh, and like you said, it like a 10th or something of the cost of actually having a person on board. And geez. Well, which allows us to focus on the important stuff in the business, which is,
amen.
If you're an owner, then that is your job, is working on your machine to make it run smoother. The machine's job is actually doing heating and air, or plumbing, or electrical, or whatever that is. But your job as the owner is to work on the machine to make it run better. And this is finding pieces like this to make that happen. So don't get confused. This is when people say work on your business, not in it. That's exactly what they mean. We hear that a lot, but nobody really tells you what that is. What that is taking a step out of the truck, not being the one turning the wrenches, but you're turning the wrenches to say, okay, this division of my company isn't working smooth. How do I make it work smoother? And this is a massive piece to help with that.
Massive, man. It's one less hat that the contractors got to wear. And like, look, this thing doesn't quit on you, right? Like, so you don't have to go re-recruit somebody new in the future. Like, this is going to solve so many problems for contractors. So guys, you can either get on the train, or you can get run over by the train. That's really what we're talking about.
Man, I don't know why this didn't like specifically come up, but after hours answering phone calls, holy crap. I mean, how many people send the phone home with the technician, and then they answer it, it's like 11 o'clock on Saturday, and they're like, all right, I'll be there Monday, right? That's not how you want it to answer, but that's what happens, right? Or 100%. Hire some remote call center somewhere. And I mean, we had one time, we were re-listening to our calls, and it was so scratchy, the actual connection and the recordings. The homeowners are going, hello, I thought I called the air conditioning company, and just hanging up. And so it fixes all of that at no extra cost to go around the clock.
It's crazy. I'm hearing people say that they're paying $40 to $60 for every appointment that their after hours center sets for them. I remember when I owned my HVAC company, like, it was almost impossible to find a good answering service, right? Because like, one call would be good, and then the next call, the person sounds like Lurch, right? And they don't even care. It's just like it's so difficult to find a good after hours call center. Now that's problem's been solved.
Right. I mean, I know of a good one, but there's one. I know of one, and that's it out of like dozens and dozens.
And that call center that is good, if you run a call center, you should probably call me because we can implement this for you. Okay. There's no reason for you to lose clients. Like we can reduce your labor force and increase the number of people that you're able to reach out to and help. So if you've got an answering service and you're afraid that this is going to put you out of business, you could be right. So you might as well own the technology.
Right. Yeah. You could be right, or you could innovate. Right.
Yeah.
So that's 100%.
I was on the phone with somebody that owns a call center yesterday. Like it was like 8:00 yesterday on Sunday. And I'm like, yeah, it's here. Yep. Okay. All right. Like she's coming on board. She wants to use it in her business.
Oh, I love it, man. This is power. Everybody listen, we've got conversational AI. Gene Slade is the only license holder anywhere in the trade space, I'm sure, because he sees innovations like it. And that's why we've always resonated. And he's one of the reasons he's been on so many times, because we always have a great conversation about something, really cool. And man, I'm just stoked about this. So
I'm really lucky, man. I'm really lucky. I really am very fortunate. Like luck doesn't always, I don't think luck always plays into success, but in this scenario, I'm very fortunate to have found the technology when I did, and to be first with it. So I'm sorry, what were you going to ask, Sam?
No, you're good, man. Well, it just reminds me, luck is, when preparation and opportunity happen to meet. And you've been preparing for years, and clearly,
oh my God, my whole life, bro.
Come across that opportunity. Yeah, that's what we do.
Well, and I knew it when I came across it, and like you can ask Brittany. I don't think I slept for 3 days. Like my mind was just reeling with all the different things that we could use this for. And you're right. I have been. It's like Damon John says, every overnight success takes 15 years, right? Like I have been practicing and preparing for this for a long time, and now like I'm going to be able to duplicate myself into thousands and thousands of Gene AIs. Just phenomenal. So I can't wait to see all the people that we help, man. I can't wait to see the differences in the business. I can't wait to see owners be like freed from all of the headaches that come along with what we're replacing. I'm so stoked about it. And guys, you've got to move fast on this. You want to get ahead of your competition, because if you don't, like if they're providing a much better customer experience than you, what do you think is going to happen? Right? You're going to go extinct, like you said.
Yep. I love it. So you've mentioned this a few times. What are you going to call it? Are you calling it Gene AI?
It's so funny. I'm calling it Lead Ninja AI right now, because I can't wrap my brain around going down that marketing tunnel right now. This does not have to have a special name for it to be successful. That being said, Brittany, my wife, is like all over trying to figure out some sort of weird name for it. I'm like, I already got my brand. I've already got the Lead Ninja brand. Everybody knows it. This fits actually better than sales training does inside the Lead Ninja name.
It does. Yeah,
I thought about calling it Brittany, right? But I'm not looking to like reinvent any wheels. We're just calling it Lead Ninja AI right now. And I refer to it in conversations as having, 1,000 genes.
I love it, man. Gosh, I'm so stoked about this. So let's talk about how people can get in touch with you to learn more, how they can to start that conversation, how they can bring it into their business. And then kind of a follow-up to that, is it ready for all the contractors listening to call you up and implement right away?
I'm only taking 12 contractors at first, and then maybe 30 to 60 days after that, we'll roll it out for everybody. So if you want to be one of those first 12, I've got a couple spots left open. And if not, I'll have it ready for everybody within 60 days.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, get on the list. right? So
Yeah,
everyone
I
listening,
would get on
reach
the
out.
list.
If you're not one of the couple that are available still, get on the list, because you can still start the conversation. Gene can tell you, go through everything that you'll need to do to prepare to get ready for as soon as it's available for you as well.
Yeah. So you're right on point, brother. Right on point. Excuse me.
No,
Yeah.
you're good,
So
man.
I would.
But yeah,
The
so
best way to reach out. Best way to reach out would be to text me, and that number is 239-848-6533. 239-848-6533. So just shoot me a text and just put your name and close it now, so that I know that you came from Sam's podcast. Because I know we've never done anything, like we've never exchanged any sort of money for anything that we do, but I want to make sure that Sam gets credit for it, and I do want to do something nice for him, for the people that end up, coming on board with us.
yep, that's well, thanks, Jude, appreciate that. Yeah, so yeah, and everybody listening, what you need to know, there's a lot of podcasts out there in the space that they take all kind of different sponsorship money and all the different things. You hear all the ads on the podcast. I've never taken a single dollar from anybody that's ever been on the podcast. Everybody that I have on, it's because I believe in what they do and the products that they offer, and so I work diligently to sort those out for you guys, to bring only the best to this community. If you saw the number of people that I've denied getting on the podcast, it would blow your mind. So in fact, people that people that you know of in the space, I haven't allowed on the podcast strictly because I don't resonate or I don't believe in what they do. So everybody that's been on here is definitely somebody that I've really vetted, and I believe that any of you listeners, go back, listen to any of the podcasts. If you use the services from the people that have been guests, it will be worth your time. Because again, abundance mentality, the rising tide raises all ships. So everyone, this product is changing the game for so many things. I'm excited. Gene and I are going to keep working on this together for a while. I know this is going to be an ongoing conversation between us, because there's so many things we can do. My mind I literally have this mental list going off right now in the back of my brain of all of the different ways that I can use this. So we're going to be talking about an account, my friend, and
Awesome.
there's just so much we can do together, and this is changing the game, folks. It's time for us to stop being, if something is new or different. Well, the cool part too, I'm so excited about this. The cool part too, everybody listening, this industry is a huge ass slow moving ship. So those of you that are fast to implement, because we know success happens at the speed of implementation. Those of you that are fast to incorporate this and implement this, you are going to be so far ahead of the game that it's going to be game over. Literally, we'll be able to, by design, set a goal and then just work the numbers backwards, and to be able to hit your goals one quarter after quarter after quarter. When it just becomes a math problem, and all you have to do is just, hey, it's just the numbers. Let's plug this in. Of course, that doesn't take the place of, providing the best service and, treating the best customer service and treating people right. But boy, this does make it simpler, because when we know we can have leads on demand, it just solves so many problems for us.
And think about too, from a buyer's perspective, if you ever do want to sell your business, like, which company would you choose? Like, one that's got all this in place or one that doesn't? Like, think about how much it's going to make people so much money, Sam. It's just, it still blows my mind how much more money people are going to be making, not just like in the day-to-day business, but in the value of their company. Like, which company would you choose if you were a private equity? I would go with this one, like, that's got sales AI installed in it, like, immediately, especially. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm like you two over here. My mind is just reeling with all the different uses. Like, I've been pacing around my lanai outside till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because I just can't sleep. I'm so freaking excited about this.
Oh, this is good stuff. So everybody, text Gene 239-848-6533. I will make sure this is in the It's okay to put your phone number in the episode notes as well, so they can get it there.
I'm not one of those guys that's afraid of people calling me, man. I'm just not. I don't understand people that don't give out their cell phone number. Like, God created a block button, dog. Like, it's on every phone. You can block people and they can never call you again. So no, I'm
something nobody's ever
transparent.
known, and nobody's ever paid attention. I've always had my cell phone number listed on my Facebook page, and no one ever goes and looks. It's like, it's always there, everybody. If you want to call me or send me a text, it's on my Facebook page. Go find me. You got to join the Facebook
I don't care
group, though.
Yeah, I don't care if you're listening to this at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night or something. Text me. If I don't want to answer right then, I won't, right? But you'd be surprised how many conversations I'm having at that time of night with this product. Like, people, they're coming out of the woodwork. And by the way, consider, please, if this is technology that you want to implement in your company, please consider that it takes time. Each account has got to be created, and we've got to build your AI. Now, we have processes to build it, but it's going to take some time. So the longer you wait, the further back in the waiting list you are. And then once we even get to you, it's still going to take a little bit of time to build. So if this is something you want in your business, please react now, schedule a meeting or something with me. And if you want to hear a demo that's only at 80% that I could have corrected, the demo is at leadninjaai.com.
leadninjaai.com. Yeah, be a first mover, everybody. I know I am. I am a first mover on this, and man, this is so powerful. There was one thing I was just thinking of, and it slipped out, but that's all right.
Happens to me all the time, dude. All the time.
So oh my gosh. Okay, so I think we've rounded out
we've covered
our episode on this thing. I think we have. But yeah, so everybody reach out to Gene, get connected, be a first mover in this. Oh, Facebook group. That's what I was talking about. Gene is, I'm sending him an invite right now. He's going to join the Facebook group as well. I'm going to create a pinned post about this. So go join the Close It Now Facebook group. It's easy to find. Just on Facebook, search Close It Now, and it'll come right up. Join the Facebook group. Gene is joining the group as well, and so you can always get in contact. If you can't remember the phone number or whatever, go in the Facebook group and you can reach out to him there, and he will be engaging with us. And in fact, what I would like to do, and I'm going to go ahead and voluntold you this because I know you'll be down. I'm starting a Facebook Live series within my Facebook group. So we've got this week, we've got Jonathan Nevis, who just sold a almost $250,000 project. His closing rate is over 30K, and owns a company up in Boston. But we want to get you scheduled. We'll do a Facebook Live training in the Facebook group, have some real-time conversation with the members in the group, and we can cover this in there as well. So everybody listening, if you have only ever listened to the podcast, go join the Facebook group, because it gets you the ability to get real-time instant responses. I do a lot of trainings in there. I have a lot of guests like Gene in there who are high-level guests, and where else can you go to get real-time response and get your questions answered and have a conversation with us all in one place at one time? So go join the Facebook group, and we're going to do an event in there to cover this a little more in-depth and answer your questions that you have. Because I know you have, after listening to this, I know you have plenty more that we didn't have a chance to cover within this episode.
So is it called Close It Now on Facebook?
Close It Now.
Awesome.
Yep, Close It Now. Just go into groups, search Close It Now. I've got it super unlocked so anyone can find it. And I only accept people who answer the questions. So everybody answer the questions.
Man, that's so frustrating. Like, you see 30 people want to get in your group, right? And you go through and they haven't answered the appropriate questions. It's like, why did you even click that you wanted to join if you weren't willing to? Like, you want me to unlock all this information for you, and you won't even give me your contact information?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's
come
like
on.
the email, they say, I'd rather not. Well, I'd rather not let you in too then.
Yeah.
But
I
and the
hear you,
whole
brother.
point of it, everybody, is, really just asking you to agree to the rules. One of the rules is not to spam people in the group when you're a member.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in the Facebook group that is pretty proprietary. I give away, most people say I give away more value than other trainers charge for. So when you're in the Facebook group, you find out why that is, because I don't have any secrets, guys. There's no secret magic bullet in sales that's going to close every deal for you. So it doesn't matter how much you learn these conversations, it matters that you become the person worth buying from. You have to understand the psychology behind it. You've got to practice it. You've got to role play it. You've got to use it and implement it. So yeah, learn a script. Here, everybody can have all my scripts. It's the behind the scenes work that is what takes to get people to the next level. That's why coaching and training is so important, because that's where that locks in. And that's where this comes in too, because yeah, they can have the script, but you're doing the work on the back end to get it programmed so it learns and gets better and can just work. And so, man, I love it. Well, thanks for joining me today, man. This has been a good one. And
my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on. I really, really appreciate you helping us to spread the message so that we can save some contractors from what otherwise would be a very, nasty death of their business. Like, it's coming, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
well, no, it's not coming, bro. It's here, right?
It is.
People
yeah,
keep saying
people
it's coming.
are crying right now for not having anything to do in their business. And you and I, in two different ways, we're working hard and fast to show people a new, better way. And I think working together with this also will completely, we're going to change the game, everybody. Yeah, that's what we're doing. This is disruption in an industry. You're seeing it on the forefront right now. And I've been saying for the last 6 months, everybody listening, and you'll agree with me, Gene, a year from now, 2 years from now, you look across the heating and air space, the HVAC space, all of the trades, it will not look the same as it does today. It will not look the same as it has for the last several years or the last 10 or 20 years. You and I have both been in the industry that long, and we've seen a lot of changes, but never changed quite so fast and quite so dramatically as what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's terrifying and it's wonderful all at the same time, right?
Yeah,
embrace
it just means more opportunity.
Let's all win with it, right? This is an opportunity to win like you've never had an opportunity to win before. So if you're about winning, this is for you, right? And if you're one of those people that's like, oh, it's coming for our jobs and you're all negative, don't call me. I don't want to deal with people like that. We work with forward thinking, like super, you got to be honest. We don't do anything immoral, illegal, or it's got to be ethical, moral, and legal if we're going to do it. So like, those are the type of people that we're looking for. If you're not that type of person, please don't call us. But if you are, please give us a call so we can help you change your business in a way that's never been possible to operate before. It's going to be massive for so many people. We're going to create so much wealth with this that in 5-10 years, Sam, we're going to be sitting back going, wow, look what happened.
Let's start a ticker right now. How many multimillionaires can we help create out of this, right?
And not just millionaire, multi-millionaire, right?
Multi-millionaire.
I'm into creating decamillionaires, Sam.
Yeah.
Like what's a decamillionaire, guys?
Oh yeah, the new six figure is $1 million a year. The new millionaire is 10 million a year.
Yeah, because if you guys don't have 10 million bucks by the time you're ready to retire, you're going to be in some bad shape. I'm telling you, like $1 million, it doesn't go as far as it used to. It really doesn't.
Nope.
So get on the train right now, guys. It's leaving the station.
Love it. Well, awesome, man. Well, let's wrap this up. We're going to land this plane. And yeah, thanks for being a guest today. Everyone, go to leadninjaai.com or text Gene at 239-848-6533. Make sure you put "close it now" in the text, and he will get you hooked up. He's going to get you a little bit of priority because you came from this community, and he is also going to be in the Facebook group. So There will be a post that goes up that I'm going to pin it to the top. Go find it. It's going to be specifically about this and how you can contact either one of us. Contact me and I'll put you in touch with Gene. Contact Gene directly and mention Close It Now. And let's get you to the next level as fast as possible. So again, thanks for joining us, everybody. Go save the world one heat stroke and one frostbite at a time.